Hey everybody, I'm Ben and I stay home. Today I am going to be talking to you about the law curriculum here in Manitoba for grade 12. I chose this curriculum because I'm going to be teaching it for the first time in the fall, so I thought it just made sense. I'm going to be working with it for the first time. I need to look at it, evaluate it, plan for it anyway, so that's what I did for this presentation. I'm doing that through the lenses of McTeague and Wiggins. This is a direct grab from the curriculum documents front matter, so I expected it would line up perfectly with the sort of three stages of design of first developing those enduring understandings, second thinking about meaningful assessment, and third designing learning experiences. You'll notice in this we see enduring understandings and we see learning experiences. We don't see anything about assessment. In actually looking at the document, we do see enduring understandings. I didn't love the way they were written. I'm going to rewrite them later on. And we saw learning experiences, but they're really just a list of outcomes. They are not what they were designed to be, and there's no thought about assessment to connect them. In the end, I decided that this curriculum wasn't really a curriculum, it was really just outcomes. So I needed to do the curriculum work. So I wanted to use McTeague and Wiggins' design, but I wanted to have theory that I liked to go with it. So I started with Patrick Slattery, a postmodernist who's talking about things that I just really, really loved in teaching and learning that I think are important. He talks about divergence and voice and conversation and critical theory and building equity, value laden work. He talks about the power of discourse and discussion to create understanding. He talks about plurality, working both in deconstruction and construction. It talks about, it's very broad, but it also talks a lot about narrative and story and how powerful that is. And that connected with Indigenous research frameworks in a lot of ways. Here I'm grounded by Sean Wilson as well as Margaret Kovach, who both talk about the three R's, which Sean Wilson brought about first, of relationality, respect, and reciprocity in Indigenous research. And I would say education is research all the time. It's that kind of learning relationship you want to have. So I'm using those same premises in my work. When it comes to story work, Wilson and Archibald do the work together where they talk about story speaking for itself and you taking from it what you're ready to take from it rather than using it to preach a message. So I tend to let the clips speak for themselves. You're going to get the chance to watch two clips today. It was supposed to be three. You will still have access to a link that will give you access to the poem. We just don't have time. So first I'll talk to you a little bit about how I designed and rewrote. So I looked at those enduring understandings. I wanted to rewrite them in a way that felt meaningful and powerful. So I did, and I came up with four. I'm not going to read them out to you today, but you do have them sitting right in front of you. So please, take a chance to give those a read. So as you're thinking about those, I developed those first. I didn't want to be overly planned in my assessment because of the divergence, but I did want to have a framework in my mind as I was thinking about these early learning experiences. So I thought about directly engaging with these enduring understandings critically, using what you learned to apply and explain and justify why you agree or disagree with them down the road. And then I was thinking about using narrative to wake it up and how they might use their own narratives to explain it as well through the conversations we're going to do with narrative. So what you're going to get to see is a clip from a sitcom and a clip from a documentary series. Very different focuses, but both definitely on point and in considering the impacts of law and justice. So please watch those and think about them. Fill out some stuff in your research form. I would normally use a one page so you can see the enduring understandings at the same time as you're working through it, but I just can't print it at home. So if you have to flip, I'm really sorry. But please enjoy them, and afterward I'll show you that formative assessment that I might do. All right, see you in a bit.
Sir, I can't get why you don't want me to file a complaint. I thought you, of all people, would support me.
First of all, let me say what that officer did to you was wrong, deeply wrong, and I'm furious about it.
Okay, so why don't you back me up?
Because that complaint could backfire. Cops who blow the whistle on other cops almost always face a backlash, just like... Listen, I don't want to see your career derailed because you were besmirched for reporting on another officer.
But what he did was wrong. He should be besmirched.
Yes, but is that besmirching worth the greater besmirching of your career? You have to balance besmirchings. There's politics to being a cop.
But I wasn't harassed for being a cop. I was harassed as a black man.
I'm not saying do nothing. I'm saying the most powerful action you can take is to rise through the ranks so that you can make large-scale changes. I've had to pick my battles. and it hasn't always been easy. But now I have my own precinct, a precinct whose officers would never do to you what Officer Maldak did. Terry, I know you're upset, but this is the right thing to do. You're this close to the city council position, and that's just the beginning. It would be a shame to jeopardize that.
Look, I get that the guys in our precinct wouldn't profile me, but it still happened. Only one precinct over.
Which is why you need to keep pushing forward in your career so that you can change the system. Terry, you're a great cop. You could become a chief or higher.
How long will it take to make change that way? Maldak is on the street now. When I got stopped the other day, I wasn't a cop. I wasn't a guy who lived in the neighborhood looking for his daughter's toy. I was a black man. A dangerous black man. That's all he could see. A threat. And I couldn't stop thinking about my daughters and their future. And how years from now, they could be walking down the street looking for their kid's moo-moo and get stopped by a bad cop. And they probably won't get to play the police card to get out of trouble. I don't like that thought. And I'm gonna do something about it.
I came to a realization after you stormed out last night.
I wouldn't say I stormed out. I shook hands with both you and Kevin before I left.
And Kevin and I agreed that you squeezed significantly tighter than necessary.
I guess I was a little worked up.
With good reason. I thought a lot about our conversation. When I was a young police officer and things like this would happen to me, I felt very alone. I wanted to call out every bad cop I encountered, and there were a lot. But as a black gay man, I never had a superior who was on my side. So the advice I offered you, that came from a different place, a different time. I put all my energy towards rising to a rank where I could make a difference. Well, I'm there now. And I realize that if I don't back you up on this, I would be betraying the very thing that I worked so hard for. So I filed a complaint. I heard from the city council about the liaison position.
Is that right?
You didn't get it.
Oh, this is a sad drink. Was it the complaint?
We'll never know for sure, but I think it's likely. However, this is not a sad drink. We're celebrating. To doing the right thing.
I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't have filed the complaint. Maybe I could have done more if I had gotten a liaison job.
Maybe, but one thing's for certain. Maldak will think twice before making another bad stop like that again. And that's a win.
Yeah. It's tough.
It is.
But there is one correctional facility nearby that Laurie's never been to, the Prince Albert Grand Council Healing Lodge. Located on the lands of the Wahpeton First Nation, it is a minimum security facility created with those Indigenous inmates in mind. Leonard Ermine is an elder employed by the Healing Lodge. He welcomes the sick with a traditional smudge ceremony. Each day, Elder Leonard works with inmates, or relatives as they call them, to pass along traditional knowledge and teachings.
All these values and that we learn, and this is what we teach them. Who am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? All these teaching that we have learned from our elders. Thank you.
The ceremony is followed by a meal prepared by the relatives themselves. It's a chance for the participants to get to know them as people.
I'm Burl Stonechild from Topeka East Reserve. I'm a lifer. Here, we're starting to learn what it means to be traditional people. They help us, and I'm really thankful to be here.
You will learn who we are. We will teach you what we know from our ancestors. These relatives will teach you. We do not label them because we've been labeled. Tomorrow, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
After dinner, Elder Leonard invites the six to build teepees together with the relatives.
We have to raise the teepee up.
More than just a shelter, the process includes important teachings at every stage.
The first three that they're gonna tie up represents the man, the woman, and the child. It's all in a circular form. The circular form and that being our families. Each and every one of you will be taking a teepee pole and placing it as part of the family.
Everyone pitches in and plays a part in the construction.
The first pole that they're gonna pick up, that represents obedience. Next pole, respect. To learn to have respect for yourselves. This is the happiness, to be happy in your lives. The next pole, love. And these poles represent these values. You learn these values, you begin to understand who you are.
Ralph Daniels, caseworker at the Healing Lodge, and Elder Shirley Sanderson share their knowledge about the task at hand.
That's the elkide.
What is this, elk?
Elkide.
Elkide.
Alongside the relatives, the younger participants scrape the fur from the elkide. It's hard, honest work, and the benefits for the relatives go much deeper than the act itself.
This helps me think of what our elders go through and went through. The healing part about this is you get to think of people back home. You maybe learn how to pray as you're doing this too.
It's been nice meeting you, every one of you. You made me feel that I'm one strand up on my healing journey. You all meant a lot to me.
Okay, everybody. Now you've seen the 3 clips, and hopefully you have some notes down. I'll show you the process I go through in setting up how I might assess this with my students. For the purposes of this, I have used my personal website. I might not use that for working in the classroom, but I just wanted to give you an example and something you could access. So here you can see my website. Now, because I'm not magic, I don't have this video done yet. So I've just put in a filler video of some Animal Crossing stuff for now, but here afterwards, you will find an embedded video of this conversation this presentation right now that you can look at to help figure out what you want to do. You're also going to see an embedded Google form, and that embedded Google form is going to have a place to put your name in and a place to reflect in text with each of the pieces of media and how they might relate to those enduring understandings. And you'll also see underneath the video, you'll see 2 buttons. One of those is the notes as an 11 by 17, and another one is the 8.5 by 11. And there's also a place underneath that for you to attach a file in case you wanted to record an audio or a video and upload that to me so I could see that rather than a written format answer. I also have links in the Google form that you can see sort of in blue there One gives a link to the Khalil Gibran poem in text. Another one gives a link to the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but in an extended format. And the last one gives a link rather to the First Contact clip on healing. I didn't include a longer piece on the First Contact because there can be some content that's tricky, kind of scattered in throughout, and some racist stuff. So I wanted to kind of cut that out and keep it limited. So the second two will go to a Google Drive file. So this is how it would look here, and this is a place where people could come and fill that out in their own time, or they could upload a file if they produced one. They could watch the video again if they want to see things again, watch the clips again. And so would give me a lot of information. I'm not taking marks on this. It's very formative, but I could potentially do completion marking just so people, feel like the work they're doing is honored, but I wouldn't do a lot of ranked marking. I just want to see their thinking. This is also very early in the unit, but then I can see how their thinking changes and evolves over the course of it as part of that, assessment trajectory that we'll end up co-constructing. So that's the process. If you want to see this yourself, I'll put the website up on the screen, but it's going to be benstays.home/considering-law. So you'll see that up on the screen if you want to go in and check out the website yourself. By the time you see this, the right video will be up there. All right, thanks so much for listening. Now let's talk.